So just quickly write that down there. This was where we left it off, right? We said finding, oh, sorry, frozen. We said they're finding the LCM of two numbers, the lowest common multiple, and then you wrote down those 3 steps. Okay? Wait, how far is your line? Are you gonna have to wait for far? Okay, so you guys wrote all those steps down yesterday. Write each number as a product of its prime factors. Then we're going to write down all the prime factors underneath each other, but we need to line the same ones up. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to do that. Then you're going to multiply all of the primes, but you're not going to repeat the ones that are common. Okay, so yesterday, let me just quickly remind you what we did for HCF, because this is now different. Okay, so for the HCF, we did our factor ladders, then we wrote our factors down, then we circled the ones that are common, and those were the only ones that we multiplied, right? Now for the LCM, we're going to have to multiply all of them, but we're not going to double up on the ones that were common. So I'll show you that now. All right, so for example, find the LCM of 540 and 3,150. Guys, those are the two that we did yesterday already. We've already done their factor ladders. Okay, so we're not going to do that again. What I'm going to show you now is how to line the factors up. Okay, so just quickly, let's write down, you don't have to write this down underneath. I'm just going to quickly write down the factors of 540 were 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5. Okay, those are all the factors. You don't have to write them down here. We are going to write them down at the top in a specific order. And then of 3,150, these were the factors. 5 times 5 times 7. Now, guys, in order to get the LCM, we need to write these factors, but we need to line the same ones up. Okay, so you need to first check how many 2s do you have in each of them. So for 540, I have 2 2s. Are we fine with that? So I'm going to write 2 times 2. And I'll just tick these ones off. You can maybe tick it off like on your actual factor ladder. Just make sure if you want. We're going to do some more examples and let's see. Now, how many 2s do I have in the second one? Just 1. Okay, so I must write that 2 underneath one of the 2s that we had for the first one. Let me take that off. Now I'm going to leave this space blank, guys, because the second number does not have another 2. Okay, so I'm going to leave this space blank. Because I want to line the factors that are the same, I want to line them up. All right. Here for the first number, we had 3 3s. So I'm going to write all 3 of them down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. How many 3s does my second number have? 2. So now remember, I'm not writing anything underneath this 2 because I didn't have a second 2. I'm going to write underneath the first 2 3s. I'm going to write those 2. Sorry. Okay, so we had 3 3s for the first one, only 2 for the second one. You have to line the same numbers up. So now with the 5s, it's a bit tricky because my first number only has 1 5, right? So I'm going to put that 1 5 there. Again, I'm going to leave the space under this 3 blank because there isn't another 3 that I can write underneath it. How many 5s do I have in my second number? 2. So I'm going to put 1 5 there, and then the second 5 is going to have to go next to it. But note that there's nothing above that 5, guys, because there wasn't another 5 in the first one. Is there anything still, any factor still of 540? No, but is there another factor of the last one? Let's just tick these ones off. The 7, right? So the 7, I'm going to just put there. Okay, so it looks a bit strange, guys, but you do have to, sorry, let me just fix this. You do have to line them up like that. It's going to make actually writing the LCM easy. Okay, we are going to do more examples so you can get more practice in this. Now what you're going to do is, I want you to write underneath, LCM is equal to, guys, remember that LCM is the lowest common multiple, so it's going to be bigger than the numbers, probably, right? What is a multiple? A multiple is like, say, for example, the multiple of 4. Is a number smaller than 4 a multiple of 4? No, the multiple of 4 is either going to be 4 or something bigger than 4, right? So here, what you're going to do is draw a little arrow. We're going to take that first 2, which is common. We're only going to take it once. Okay, times. We're going to take the second 2 as well, all the way down. Even though it just appeared in the first number, we need to multiply that 2, thank you, to get the LCM. Then we're going to take those 2 3s, even though it was common, we're only going to times it once, like that. The next 2 3s as well. Going to multiply that once. The third 3, even though it just appeared in one of the numbers, it will make up part of our LCM, so we're taking that down. Then we're taking down the first 5, and then the second 5, and then that's 7. And that number, when you multiply all of those together, that is going to be the lowest common multiple. Big number, yes. Let's see what it is. Because 3,150 is a big number. Okay. Now, guys, I suppose for this, you would technically have to use your calculator, but we won't actually give you numbers that are this big. Okay, so 18,900. That is the lowest common multiple of 540 and 3,150. Okay, we're going to do more examples now of both of these, of finding the HCF and finding the LCM. So guys, for HCF, you take only the ones that occur or appear, only the common ones. In LCM, you take all of them, but the ones that are common, you don't use twice. All right, we're going to do another example. Find the HCF and LCM of 15, 30, and 45. And this is a simple one, just to go through all the steps again, and then we're going to do one that is a little bit more complicated. Find the HCF and LCM of 15, 30, and 45. You might even be able to do this in your head, okay, but I want us just to practice the method. Remember, guys, the first step is to do the factor ladder so that we can write each of these numbers. Now there are 3 of them, right, as a product of their prime factors. So we're going to do the first one is going to be 15. Draw a line. It's a short line in this case. 15 is quite a small number, right? So we're not going to have to work too hard on this one. Guys, let's remember, what is the smallest prime number? We talked about this yesterday. 2. Does 2 go into 15? No. Does 3 go into 15? Yes. So we're going to divide 15 by 3. What is 15 divided by 3? 5. Okay, what is now the prime number that will go into 5? 5. And what is 5 divided by 5? 1.
The lowest number also will increase like 5%.
And we just have to order them. So if you're starting with the smallest number first, then your product, you can write 3 times 5. Where if you did 5 and 3, you mustn't write 5 times 3. Okay. So you would just have to fix that order. All right, let's do 30. The smallest prime number is 2. Does 2 go into 30? Yes. What is 30 divided by 2? 15, hey? And then after that, I mean, we've just done 15. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to divide it by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Then we're going to divide it by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay, last one, 45. Sure, how long my line is going to have to be, but remember, if it's too short, you can lengthen it. If it's too long, you can just leave it. Does 2 go into 45? No. What about 3? Yes, remember that test? If we add the digits together, 4 plus 5 is 9. All right, and 3 goes into 9, so 3 is also going to go into 45. What is 45 divided by 3? It's 15, hey? Thank you. So there we have the same scenario again. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. All right, so I actually made my line a little bit too long, but it's fine. Okay, if your line is 1 line too long, doesn't matter. Okay, so now guys, we're going to do the HCF and the LCM. Okay, because that's what they're asking for. They're asking for the HCF and they're asking for the LCM. So let's do the HCF calculation first. I think that is the simplest one. So what you're going to do is you are going to write all of these numbers as products of their prime factors. So now these are quite simple, right? They don't have many factors. So 15, we're just going to write as 3 times 5. 30, we're going to write as 2 times 3 times 5. And then 45, we're going to write as 3 times 3 times 5. Can anyone remember what we must do for the HCF? Highest common factor. Yeah.
You must input some
Yes, the ones that are common. Okay, but now guys, there are 3 numbers, so we're looking for factors that occur that are part of all 3 of them. All right? So is there a 3 in all 3 of them? Yes. Okay, so we can circle that 3. Now it's a bit difficult to do, but let's do something like that. All right, 1, 3 is in all 3 of them. What about the 5? Is there 5 in all 3 of them? Yes.
well, for 50, you say 15 and 50 divided by 15 plus 2. So you know what I mean? So
Not really.
for the line, so instead of saying 50 divided by 2, 50 divided by 15.
So these numbers have to be prime numbers. So you wouldn't be able to use, you wouldn't be allowed to use them. Is there another number that's common in all 3 of them, guys? No. All right, there's a 2 here, but there isn't a 2 in the others. There's a second 3 here, but there is no second 3 in the other 2. So my HCF is going to be 3 times 5, which is equal to 15. Now guys, we could actually see it by looking at the ladders, right? Because we had 15 on this side of all 3 of them. Okay, but if they're asking you to do the factor ladder method, all right, then you're going to have to show your 3 products and you're going to have to show which numbers you're multiplying together. Is they just leave it open-ended, right? So they just say, find the HCF of the 15, 30, and 45, and you know that it's 15, that's fine. Okay, then you can just write it down. But what they normally do is they'll say 1.1, write 15, 30, and 45 as product of their prime factors. All right, so they'll like force you to do this kind of thing. Then they'll say 1.2, find the HCF. Okay, then you would have to do this method. Let's quickly do the LCM just next to it. Now guys, we have already written them as products of their prime factors before, but remember, now we must line all the numbers up. Okay, so I'm going to write 15 equals 30 equals and 45 equals. And what we're going to have to do is we need to start with the smallest number first. Now, 30 has a factor of 2, but the other ones don't, right? Do we notice that? So guys, we are going to have to write 2 first, 2 times, it's the smallest number. But I'm not going to write anything above that 2, and I'm not going to write anything below that 2. Okay, because the other 2 numbers don't have the 2. I hope that makes sense. Probably just going to take some practice as well. What about 3? Does all of them have a 3? Yes. Okay, so I can write my first 3 next to that, all in a row. All right, for all of them. Now, guys, if you want to, on your factor ladders, it's probably a good idea to tick off the ones that we've done already. Okay, so we did that 2, and now we've done a 3 for each of them. Don't cross the numbers out, please, because whoever's marking needs to see these numbers. Okay, so just make a little tick next to it. What about a second 3? Does all 3 of them have a second 3? All 3, sorry. No, just the last one, okay? So now I'm going to have to go for 45. I must put a second 3 here, but I'm going to leave the spaces above that second 3 blank because the other 2 numbers do not have a second 3. Okay, all of them have a 5. Do we agree? So now those 5s I'm going to write in line with each other. So it's 5, 5, and 5. And we can tick all of them off. Just double check that we have written down all of the numbers now for all 3 of them. We've ticked them all off, right? So we're done writing them off. Now underneath, we're going to write LCM equals. Now we're going to do our arrows. We're going to bring down all of these numbers, but those that are written in a line, we're only going to bring down once. Okay, so the 2 we have to bring down. So you can do your arrow. These 3s we're going to bring down once. The next 3 we are also going to bring down. It's going to form part of the LCM. And then these 3 5s we are also going to bring down once. Okay, that is going to give us the LCM. This one is easier to do. What's 2 times 3? 6. 6 times 5, that one will be easier to do. 6 times 5 is 30, and then 30 times 3 is 90. Okay, so this LCM is 90. Any questions, guys? Okay, are we going to do another one now? 90, 105, and 150. I want you please to do the factor ladders on your own quickly. All right, so you're going to do a factor ladder for 90 and one for 105 and one for 150. Don't use a calculator, guys. Please, in a test or exam, you're not going to be allowed to use one. So you have to practice that. Okay, so for 90, 105, and 150, I'll give you some time to do that. LCM to like the HCM. It can't work out. Okay, guys, let's take a look. I think that's all done. All right, so just look at those three ladders there. See if you agree with what I got. If not, you can just let me know. And if you do agree, you can write the next bit down so long. We're going to find the HCF now of these three numbers. So all five of those ladders? Yes? No? No one saying anything? I don't know what that means. Yes, thank you. Okay, guys, for the HCF, we're just going to list them. For the HCF, you don't have to write them in any kind of order. We're just going to group the ones that are the same. So for 90, I'm going to do 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 For 105, I'm going to do 3 times 5 times 7. And then for 150, 2 times 3 times 5 times 5. Okay, then we are going to look for numbers that are in all 3 of them, not just 2, all 3. Is there 2 in all 3 of them? 2? No, this is the first and the last ones, right? That's unfortunate. So 2 is not a factor of 105. So 2 can't go or doesn't go into all 3 of them. What about 3? Yes. Okay, so we must circle this 3. What about 5? Yes. And then that's it, I think, okay? You don't have to like circle them like that. You can also just highlight them if you want, right? If you think that looks neater, or you can just like circle each one if you want. So like you can circle 3, 3, 3 on their own, and then 5, 5, 5 on their own, and then you know that it's just going to be 3 times 5. It's up to you guys. When we don't not really fussy about how you do that. You don't even have to circle them. You can just look and you can just see, oh, there's a 3 and a 5 in each of them. Okay, so 3 times 5, that's going to be the HCF, which is then 50. All right, are we fine with that? Let's do LCM quickly, and that is the tricky one. So we're going to write them all in, like lined up. So 90, 105, and then 150. Right, guys, so for 90, we had 2, and then we had 2 3s and a 5. The smallest prime factor, let's start with that one. Only 90 and 150 have a 2. Okay, so we can write those 2s in line with each other like that. And then we're going to leave this one blank because 105 does not have a 2. Okay, all of them have a 3, so we can write that 3. So those 3s rather in line like that. If we're going to go back up to the ladder, the factor ladders, I'm going to tick off the 2s and the first 3s. All right, so the 2s are gone, the first 3s are done. 15 has another 3. Okay, so we're going to write that 3 now as well. So, sorry, not 15, 90 has another 3. So that 3 is going to go there. But since the other 2 numbers don't have a second 3, we're just going to leave it blank underneath that one. Okay, do they all have a 5? Yes. So I'm going to put a 5 for each of them in line. I'm going to tick off those first 5s. There we go, there we go, there we go. 150 has a second 5, but the other ones do not. So I'm going to write that second 5 by 150, and it's just going to be blank above those or above that number for the others. Okay, there's just one number left that we still have to fill in, and that is the 7. So let's quickly see. We just put in that 5. The 7 is with 105. I can pick that one off. I'm just going to write the 7 next to 105, remembering to keep that part blank. So this 7 is going to have to be blank. Okay. That is a bit tricky, guys, but I think when you practice, when you do it on your own, it should start making sense, yeah?
Instead of the times being next to 7, could it be just after the 5?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Doesn't really matter where that times is, as long as it is somewhere. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna do our arrows. So the 2 we're gonna bring down, that's gonna form part of the LCM. Then the 3s we're gonna bring down, that is also going to form part of the LCM. The second 3, even though it's just in one number, we're gonna bring that down, it's also going to become part of the LCM. The 5s, we're going to bring that down, it's going to become part. The second 5 as well. And then that 7. Okay, I'm just going to work this out quickly. Oh dear. Okay. 3,000. Yes, 150. That is the answer. Okay, that is the lowest common multiple then of the first 3 numbers. All right, guys, we are still like 25 minutes left. I'm going to give you some of these to practice now from the textbook. So I'll also put it on the board for you. It's all like in one spot. But just write down quickly. It's exercise 1.5 on page, thank you, on page 12. And I want you to do numbers 1 and 2. So number 1, they've given you numbers, they're asking for the HCF. And in number 2, they've given you numbers, they're asking for the LCM. Oh, we've just done 2C actually. Okay, so 2A and B. 2C was this one. Okay, just quickly copy that down, guys, so I can put the questions on the board for you. That's fine. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. This is on page 12, guys. If you didn't get a chance to write that down, you're doing 1 and 2A and B.